Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Wrestling with Tism, where there is always Spectrum on the internet. I am your host, the He-Man James Hebert, joined as always by my co-host, the Fish and Dish Connection, Hannibal, Ryan. Another Monday, gentlemen. How's it going?
Is it? Oh man,
it's one of them Mondays.
Okay, no lasagna for me.
Mondays are the shits. What can I say?
Yeah,
except for us.
Yeah,
we're good.
We're good. We make things happy. We make things happy on a Monday. Some people are happy on a Monday. I know who's not happy Monday, and that's unfortunately a fellow neurodivergent member. Which I don't know if we want to get right into that right away or what, but yeah, I feel bad for that individual. We will get to him momentarily, but yeah, I'm buried in fucking snow, so thank God I do shit from home.
It's a benefit.
It is a benefit. It's like this high right now, like literally like about as high as my computer desk. That's how high the fucking snowbanks are right now.
Wow.
So yay, that's what I have to look forward to after the show. So yeah.
They've actually told me a funny story. Sorry, I'm recovering from a cold, so
yeah,
I'm a little bit off sorts. But Dev was telling me a story that a friend of a friend or his friend, I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But snow where they were, snow day, sent home from work. So decided to go to the local grocery store to get some groceries. The grocery store was closed. However, the person that owns and runs the shop lives upstairs.
Yeah.
Can't really use a snow day as an excuse not to open your shop if you live in the same building.
Nice.
Or you can, clearly, because he is.
Yeah, it is what it is, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's very much. Hannibal, there is a very important subject here that we need to brush real quickly. Not necessarily real quickly, but very important nonetheless. And you are the most eloquent among us, so you're the one who I trust with covering this.
Yeah. I've been following this since yesterday when the incident happened. So, and the reason why I wanted us to talk about it, or I wanted to bring it up certainly, was because, although we're wrestling with Tism and we're all neurodiverse, neurological condition, there are many other similar types of neurological conditions that are out there, including Tourette's. And Tourette's has kind of been the hot button topic for the last 24 hours because of an incident that happened at the BAFTAs, which for anyone listening not in the UK, the BAFTAs are essentially our Academy Awards. So it's our big movie awards ceremony that happens. It's normally about a month before the Oscars. We like to get ours done quickly and early and, leave you guys do the big, the big show, the big important show. But it's our version. And there was an incident that happened at the awards last night with a man named John Davidson, who is very famous to us in the UK and not quite such a recognized name globally. And it's exploded. The story's exploded. So I wanted to discuss it on here because there are some things that are complicated and there are other things which are not complicated. And that's really what I want to focus on. So just for anyone that's not aware of what happened, or the individual in question. So John Davidson is somebody who has Tourette's. He first became famous in the UK when a documentary was made about him when he was 16 years old back in 1989. And it was a documentary that was shown on the BBC, which is, our PBS, I guess, and really brought to the public discourse Tourette's syndrome, which at that time wasn't really something that was really known or talked about. So it certainly shot a spotlight on it. And he would go on to have another documentary made about him about 12 years later or so. To kind of like follow up with his life. And he is somebody who has been a very prominent voice for people with Tourette's. He's done a lot of work with education, with law enforcement, about covering what Tourette's is and kind of like explaining it to a wider audience and kind of like letting people know what it is and how it affects people. And he was in attendance yesterday because a film was made about his life, which came out in the UK at the end of last year, called I Swear. It comes out in the US, I believe, next month. I think it's going to get in a cinema release, but Netflix do have the rights to it, and they will be showing it after next month as well. So people will be able to watch it that would like to do so. And I'll talk about the film in a minute because I just watched it tonight. So I'll talk about that briefly as well. But one of the things that he has as part of his Tourette's is something, and I could butcher the name here, but it's called coprolalia. And what that means is it's an involuntary and sudden outburst of obscene or socially inappropriate words, phrases, or gestures. Now, I read that out from the official description because that gives you an idea of the kind of things that might happen as part of that. And, the involuntary bit, and that's the thing that happens with everybody with Tourette's, not everyone with Tourette's has that particular symptom, but they all have tics. And what that means is that you say things without control, things that are socially unacceptable, things that you don't want to be saying. There's a bit in the film where he gets on a train and announces that he's got a bomb. He doesn't have a bomb, but he just spontaneously says it, right? There's John Davidson from last night. So he will say things inappropriately and uncontrollably. He also met the Queen a few years ago when he was awarded one of our highest honours that you can be bestowed, which is an MBE, and told her to fuck off for her. So again, this is something that he obviously has no control over. It's just things that come out. Before anyone asks me, yes, there are certainly people in the UK which would like to say that to the Queen, but we're too polite and reserved to say that. So we wouldn't do it.
We can't do it.
Anyway,
I'm US and I don't want to say that to the Queen.
There you go. Well, she's dead now, so it's okay. Not it's okay. She's dead. I'm just saying, you can pretty much say what you want about the Queen. She's not going to.
The context of this is
she's not going to chop your head off or anything like that. Charles might, but it's too much. Anyway, all of that to say that during the awards last night, Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were presenting an award during a ceremony. And John had one of his outbursts, and he said, one of the worst things you could say in that situation, which is part of the condition, is you will say the thing you probably would want to say the least at any given time. That's why it's such a horrible thing. And he said the N-word very audibly. Now they carried on. They paused for a second, then carried on. Presented the award, and then obviously got off stage. He was in the ceremony for about 25 minutes, he had a few other outbursts, which you could hear on the broadcast when it was on TV. He then left because he realized, how bad he was getting, and he didn't want to cause any more upset or disruption. So he removed himself from the venue. And the reason I say all this stuff is because it creates an international storm. And there's a few things that I want to talk about. But the first one, I am not here to discuss what he said and the reasons behind it and whether people should be upset. As you can see, I'm a white man. I have no say in this conversation. I know how bad the word is, and people have every right to feel upset when someone uses it in any context. So I'm not here. I've seen people defend it and say, well, he can't control what he says, and so, they can't be offended. No, you can absolutely be offended. No one should be telling people that word affects how they should respond to it. So we're not here to have that conversation. What I am here for is the conversation about why did he do it? And, some of that discourse has been, he knows it's a bad word, so why did he say it? Why was he there? If this kind of thing might have happened. And, you can't do that. You can't, he didn't know he was going to do that. No one knew when he might have an outburst and what the outburst was going to be. It just happened to be at that time, at the worst time, with the worst word he could have said at that time. So, what I kind of wanted to discuss was the fact that when you have a condition like that, it is completely out of your control. He's probably, as mortified as anyone could be in that kind of situation when you make a slip up like that. And the worst thing is that you literally have no control. And so where I'm kind of really upset about the situation is with the organisers of the BAFTAs and also with the BBC. Now, I'm very much somebody who loves and respects the BBC, but they are not infallible. And in this case, they've definitely let everybody down involved, because they showed that on a 90-minute delay, roughly 90-minute delay. It might have been 60 minutes. It doesn't matter. It was on a delay. They always do it every year, in case they need to cut things down or edit things out. So they always do it. They decided to air that segment completely uncensored. For what reason, I've got no idea, except to cause an absolute media storm. Because the people, and there's lots of people that don't understand Tourette's as a whole, but also particular types of Tourette's. And so for us in the UK, we are aware of him and his challenges, and we've seen documentaries about him and seen him speak. So we know, what he goes through, but the world doesn't. And so now we live in a time where that is broadcast worldwide and everybody suddenly has an opinion without doing a little bit of due diligence. So I hold them responsible for it. I can't hold him responsible for not being able to control how his tics come out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But, for people, I've seen people say, well, if he knows how bad the word is, he needs to unlearn the word. You can't unlearn words. That's not how it works.
No.
But, he has put a statement out, which I'm not going to read, but he's obviously, upset that it happened and upset how it affected people. There's really not much else he can say about it. But I watched the film tonight because it was on my list of films to watch. I hadn't got to see it at the cinema last year. I got to see it tonight with my wife and my daughter. And even though I knew most of his story, seeing it dramatized in the way that they did and the challenges that it affects not just him, but other people with the same condition, was both, very funny and also incredibly sad. I haven't cried at a film as much as I did that in the last year. And there was a few films that I did cry at. But it's a wonderful story. It's a really great film, and I think that's a really sad thing, because now it's going to have this stigma around it. And actually, I think the more people that actually do watch the film and or the documentaries about him and actually understand the condition, I think there would be some more understanding and compassion about what people like him go through on a day-to-day basis. It does not mean that they cannot hurt people with words and upset people. And anyone that's trying to ignore that fact is wrong. Absolutely wrong. But I think people need to take a step back, need to listen to people. And I've seen so many people on TikTok, on Twitter, on Facebook even, that have Tourette's that have kind of weighed in on this situation. Yeah. And nearly all of them, and these are people from every different race and ethnicity, kind of come to the same conclusion that it was a very unfortunate situation that happened, but not blaming him for it happening, more how it was handled. Because the other thing as well that upsets me is that the people involved, the people that were affected by this, apparently weren't even talked to by the organisers of the awards after it happened. And they should have been the first ones to, make sure that they were okay and that minimize as much damage as possible from it to them, because they owed them that. They did put an announcement out beforehand that, he was in the audience and he has this disability and, these kind of things could happen. But no one knew if it would do and when it would do and who it might affect. But even so, even with that said before the awards kicked off, why no one went up to them afterwards and apologized and made sure that, they were as okay as they could be? I don't know. So I want the blame not aimed at John Davidson for having, an uncontrollable outburst, but more at the way it was handled by the people running the event and by the BBC who broadcasted it.
Yep.
And I really hope that they have tried to do things right for both the actors involved, because I can't believe that they were just ignored. I think that's so disrespectful and disgusting. So my anger isn't at anyone else other than the people that organised the awards and the BBC for showing it. And what I would say is, despite everything that's gone on, the film is a wonderful story, very educational. I think again, even though I knew a lot of it, I still learned from it. And I think if you have a neurological condition of any type, I think when you watch a film, there are things that you will be able to relate to, even though they haven't. It's not been your story. I think there were certainly things that myself, my daughter, resonated with. It's a really good story, and I think it would help to reduce the stigma surrounding Tourette's and a better understanding. And it's, you're never going to clear everybody's mind and change everyone's opinion of these kind of things, but the more that you learn and the more education you can have on these kind of subjects, I think the better it is for how we treat each other in general. And so that's where I kind of that's why I wanted to bring it up and why I wanted to say what I wanted to say. And I probably could have said this better and quicker because I've been doing this for about 20 minutes now, but it is something I wanted to address. And I think we have a platform, and we want to be as inclusive as we can do to everybody. I think when something like this happens, with a condition like that, which is still within our kind of sphere of things, we need to address it. That's all I kind of wanted to say on it.
I couldn't agree with any of what you said more. It's absolutely accurate. The people who put this event on should have done a way better job, protecting, Davidson and his people. That's kind of where my anger was. The minute, I think it was you, Fish, who brought this to my attention, because you brought it to Fish's attention. Ryan told me about it. I'm like, yeah, this is definitely going to be talked about here, because I couldn't agree more with everything you said. So.
Fair enough. I've got to just share this because I just saw this comment happen when I was obviously talking a few minutes ago about the Queen, and I was like, that needs to go up. But yeah, so I wanted to say that, also wanted to be just completely clear that the word that was used, as I said, we're not having that discussion. We are the wrong people to talk about that, other than to say we know it's bad and we know how upsetting it is for people, and that should not be diminished in any way whatsoever.
No.
When we are nearing a year of doing Wrestling with Tism. Okay, and in that year, occasionally things may happen where we have to touch light on some neurodivergency, and the core statement that when we started doing this is we wanted to build a show platform where people who are neurodivergent can come up and share some opinions about wrestling or whatever, at a environment that they may feel comfortable in. Okay. And sometimes, like autism, there's a dime a dozen different brands of autism now, it feels like. Right. So my point is, like, neurodivergency can pop up in so many different facets. Tourette's can manifest itself in so many different capacities. And a lot of people are uneducated on the subject of what Tourette's syndrome is and the struggles that someone with Tourette's syndrome go through on a day-to-day basis. I can't wait for this movie to be available over here in the States. To be fair, I could just get a VPN right now, log in, and view it that way, I'm sure. But the goal is to educate at the end of the day, right? So at the end of the day, sometimes you have to have a serious conversation.
Yep.
And with that,
unfortunately,
and with that, we had a fun conversation that we wanted to do that we are about to start edging ourselves into. So the call out has been sent for a WWE 2K conversation, to the group chats, but it's a rough situation all the way around in terms of the Tourette's.
We'll lighten it up now.
It is what it is. Just educate yourselves before you find yourself in positions where you're having conversations. That's it. You don't want to be uneducated and suddenly find yourself walking to a conversation that you are thoroughly uneducated on the subject matter, and then start talking like you're an expert on everything. That's why we picked the most eloquent among us to talk about it, because I take for granted not having Tourette's.
Yeah.
So it's just like I kind of forgot that Tourette's syndrome was a thing until this exact moment, because something that doesn't affect me. So this is what it is.
The only reason I even know about it is because I also happen to know another, English woman in this case, Sweet Anita, who also lives with Tourette's. And I tune into her content because I found her funny on a Sidemen shoot once. So, there you go. Right. And she's a lovely lady. So shout out Sweet Anita, shout out, and shout out John Davidson. So,
and just before we start getting really into the next topic, when we used to just do this as a space, very easy for people to, if you're watching on X, to just join in the conversation. Obviously, we're over here now. You might be watching still. In fact, I know you are watching still on X, because I can see how many people are watching on X and the other platforms.
Thank you, by the way.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Wherever you're watching from, we appreciate you. Thank you very much. But obviously, we are on video. This is YouTube, and I know people assume YouTube with video. We want people to get involved if they want to join in the conversation. You do not have to be on video.
No,
you can just join on audio. It will show a picture, whatever picture you have as your avatar, or none if you haven't got one for StreamYard. But if you do want to join in the conversation, you can click in the link. You do not have to be on camera. We do need to hear you. So you'll need some kind of microphone device, whether that's the one in your phone or one on your head, like the Fisher's got, or one that you've plugged in like I have and James has. Yeah, you can join in any way you want, but don't feel that you can't join in because we're on video. You do not have to be on video. So I just wanted to make that loud and clear for anyone watching.
Come on in and join in the conversation. It should be a good one today, guys. And with that, Fish, I leave the floor to the resident 2K expert.
All right, so as you know, it is it's Christmas time if you are a fan of WWE games.
Yes.
As we are on the eve, next week, relatively speaking, the release of WWE 2K26. All the promo material has been dropping for WWE 2K26. All the content creators, we're not big enough to have that access to that kind of information, readily handed to us on a first-person perspective, have been playing 2K26, right? So we hinted at having this conversation quite a few weeks ago now. But it's finally time to start talking about it. So I buy WWE 2K every year, typically. I typically get the largest version of the game.
Yeah.
Just because, for convenience sake, it already has everything in it. Kind of can't do that this year. It's $150, and I have no idea how they came to that conclusion. But, WWE 2K26 this year has a lot of new quality of life features, a lot of things to talk about, really. So for this conversation, let's see, where do we want to go? How do we want to start? Do we want to start with new characters? Do we want to start with new characters, or do we want to?
I know if we are going to start with new characters, there's one that I was able to find an image of. And it is Dev's favorite of all time, if I can actually have this.
Are you talking about the pre-order bonus, Mr. Joe Hendry himself?
I am indeed talking about Mr. Hendry. So I will flash this up, and then Dev will, I'm sure, be happy somewhere in the ether.
Well, anyways, Joe Hendry is the pre-order bonus for all versions of the game. If you happen to buy the game early, you get him. That's the modern video game scam where you purchase the game and they give you a little something for your troubles, right? Pre-order bonuses aside, Joe Hendry's been in WWE for practically a year now. I don't know why he's the pre-order bonus,
really,
but it is what it is. So that said, he's very popular. He had a WrestleMania moment last year where he got beat by Randy Orton in 5 minutes. He's the NXT champion. I'm happy to see that Joe Hendry has finally achieved what any aspiring wrestler's dream is, and that's to be the pre-order bonus of some random year's wrestling video game. But we have a few other new characters this year, like Monroe. Former Mariah May is coming over. And is in the game, and her model actually looks really good. We have a couple El Grande Americanos. We have Kaiser Americano and Gable Americano. Gable Americano was a DLC last year. There's a lot of characters to break down when you start looking at the roster.
Yeah.
All right. Any characters, any new characters, I'm using, for the record, guys, I don't know what websites that you guys may have access to or may be using, but I've been using SmackDown Hotel to look at the main roster because they have the renders for the characters also when they can. But, at this point, we have over 400 characters that are going to be available. Most of these are going to be unique characters, but a lot of them are going to be multiple versions of one person scattered across a few years worth of attires. So, is what it is. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to you guys. Who do you want to play as?
Who do I want
And
to play as? I mean,
like I don't know if you guys are getting the games, but this is just a fun question. Who do you want to play as?
I feel like of all the people that are going to be in like the game, like as far as like I'm happy with the luchadors. I'm happy with their inclusion. So any one of those, yes, that includes Mr. Iguana.
We haven't got to the ringside pass yet.
Okay, well that would be one.
We haven't started. We have not started breaking down the pros and cons of the ringside pass.
Yeah, that's valid. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like I'm very much into the like playing for the lulz type of deal. So in that sense, probably one of the Americanos or Joe Hendry. I just, one of them. I would probably play.
This is something I expected you to be a little bit more passionate about. If I'm being completely honest, you used to have a colleague. You used to play wrestling again.
Yeah. I'll say this much, right? The actual game, it looks like they're finally kind of going back to where they were before, everything got fucked up twice. So that's good. And kind of gets me interested in that regard, So I'm not mad about that. I like that, I guess I get to play as Ken Shamrock again. That would be fun. Not mad about that. Not mad at the Attitude Era inclusion, although it's funny that we got Mr. Fucking all over the covers of every game known to man. Fucking mid-carder. But
you could just say Triple H, because honestly that joke did not fire as well as you thought it did.
Yeah, that's fair. We probably should have said Triple H and then fucking mid-carder. We'll get him next time. But yeah, no, probably either the Americanos or fucking Ken Shamrock, which probably exposed the fuck out of me.
All right, James, word salad. Hannibal.
The correct answers are Abyss or Cactus Jack. Everything else is wrong.
Last year, when they added Abyss to the game, Abyss is the sole reason I pre-ordered the deluxe edition of the game last year.
Yeah,
mainly so I could already have him paid for. Love Abyss. The inclusion of him, pretty accurate too, in terms of the character model. And it's like, this is the closest thing we'll ever see to seeing Abyss wrestle in a WWE ring.
Yeah,
is what it is. And he is back in this game this year. So, high hopes.
I just need to address this comment here from Dev. The reason why is because I believe she's only available as a manager. I don't think she's
she's not a playable. She's not.
It does say she's on the full list, but under non-combatants, it does have Ava. So I believe that she.
I think they cut her off from being an actual wrestler in this game, because she hasn't been an in-ring competitor in quite some time.
At least 18 months, if not 2 years.
Interestingly enough, this is the first game where Larry the dog will be a character at all. Manager in, my faction. They have included Larry, Rip Larry.
We now have a dog as a manager. When do we get a cat? Because I'm a cat guy.
Where's the love of Winston, man? The first dog of wrestling.
That or Rene Dupre's many dogs that he named Fifi or whatever.
Well, yeah.
Well, the problem is Rene Dupree isn't popular enough to be included in any wrestling game.
No.
No Legends deal for you, sir.
If there was Noah,
no one remembers La Resistance.
Nobody. Well, hey,
No,
but since we talked about it, since we touched the subject, there are a few additions of this year's game. We have the standard edition, which you pre-ordered today. You can have Joe Hendry. We have the Attitude. Sorry, we have the King of Kings edition, which comes with Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, and I think that's really about it. Hold on, let's check this out. Game editions. Because we're doing our homework. We're doing our homework in real time.
Are y'all excited for AJ Lee and AJ Lee 15?
Hey, James, we're not even on the fucking subject. Respectfully, we're talking about the additions of this game.
True. Okay, fair.
If you wanted to talk about AJ Lee, you should have, I don't know.
Listen,
brought her up when I asked you who you were excited to play as.
It got my eye.
Autism, people. Autism rises in so many cases. ADHD as well. But Ringside Pass Season 1, you get for purchasing the King of Kings edition, which we now know what that means. Ringside Pass 1 is going to include Mr. Iguana, Psycho Clown, Lady Flamer, and the Kingo. Okay, so that's the 4 DLC characters you'll get in this particular season pass.
Mm-hmm.
Subsequently, for the game itself, the actual bonus content you're going to get is Triple H 98, which is called the King of Kings edition. We're selling a D-Generation X era Triple H that was a mid-carder who was the European champion.
He wasn't even the game at that
2000
point.
With Stephanie McMahon, 2000. Can we at least have some continuity here? I don't ask for much here. I get it. Triple H is the guy, quote unquote. That is what it is. I'm not going to sell the propaganda today.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't make sense. This feels like this should be the King of Kings version that, the Conan the Barbarian challenge for the WWE Championship. The King of Kings will go back on his throne, Triple H. Not DX era Triple H. But it is what it is. And for some reason, they sold that. The next version up is the Attitude Era edition of the game, which comes with China 97, who is much closer to, Triple H. Seems like this should be in here. Specifically that era of Triple H.
King of Kings back, yes.
But it comes with Kane 98 and Rock 99, and this will come with the first 4 ringside passes, which we have no context for. Okay? The next one up from there is the Monday Night War edition, which will come with 6 ringside passes, which will total 24 brand new DLC characters. Okay? Also, I should go off and say this. There's a arena. The 98 Raw arena is going to be in the Attitude Era edition, and the WCW Thunder edition is going to be in the Monday Night War edition. And we are getting Macho Man, Randy Savage 98, Roddy Piper 98, which actually that model looks good if you've seen it.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels DX. New model or at least new attire for Shawn Michaels, not a new model for Shawn Michaels. It doesn't look too great here. But, at the cost of $150 for the Monday Night War edition, you'd be hard-pressed to sell me Roddy Piper. I love Roddy, but you'd be hard-pressed to get me to buy this game.
Mm-hmm.
Really. If money's not an option, this is a great bundle. For what it's worth, the DLC passes, they intend to sell these for $10 each. So they're 60 additional dollars. So $120 is $130 is what you're going to be spending if you were buying the $70 game and then buying the individual packs. So do the math. But you're also getting all the other content in these particular editions. For what it's worth, it's a fun game. From what I see, they brought back weapons physics. they brought back a lot of quality of life features.
So,
We have hi
What's this?
CJ. Hi CJ. How are you doing? You know,
hello, CJ.
I've tried to interact with the comments as I see them. But it's going to be a fun game. They look like they brought about a bunch of things in. Now, I've been doing a lot of talking, so I've given you the guys the word salad. Hannibal, what are your thoughts so far on everything we talked about?
So we're talking about a base game. So the base version of the game. No King of Kings or anything like that. The base version's $70, right?
Yeah.
And then you said a ringside pass is also $70?
70 for if you were to buy all 6 ringside passes, you're going to be spending $60.
Okay, so they're
$10 each.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 130 total.
Yeah. Okay. I kind of feel, and I know it's timing more than anything else. I'm sure it's not intentional, but we are at a stage where WWE is starting to feel a bit of a decline in terms of ticket revenue, right? Ticket sales. WrestleMania is under what they got last year.
Yep.
And in fact, they actually, I've never seen this happen before. They actually, they had less tickets sold when they did a promotion than they did before they started the promotion. I think they started like 35,000 had sold, and they ended up with 33,000 because 2,000 tickets had basically been returned during a promotion when the tickets were actually cheaper. They actually lost 2,000 tickets in sales, which is insane. And now they're doing this banning of watch parties in the cities where the events are taking place. So Chicago can't show Elimination Chamber, Vegas can't show WrestleMania, and this is because people are not buying tickets like they were even a year ago. And the reason for that is, as we've discussed on other shows, because the price of tickets has gone up exponentially because you make hay while the sun shines. I don't blame a company that has shareholders of trying to make as much money as they can. It does appear, though, that they have hit that ceiling where ticket prices now are too high and people aren't going. And I bring all that up because I feel a little bit the same with this game. When I'm paying $70 for a video game, I'm not then expecting to spend almost another game to get all the additional stuff.
Yeah.
Call me old-fashioned, but when I used to buy a video game, these were things that were in the game that you had to unlock. You had to do challenges, you had to wrestle so many matches, you had to play for so many hours, all these kind of things. And then when you did that, you were able to unlock new characters, new skins, new moves, whatever it should be.
Felt rewarding.
Right. Now, I've played games like this. In fact, I looked at the ringside mode. What's it called, Ryan? Ringside Pass?
Right? Ringside Pass.
Yeah,
ringside.
Okay. So I watched the video about the Ringside Pass, which you wouldn't believe from what I just said, but I promise you I watched it. And what struck me when I watched that video was the way they did that was very similar to a game that I've played before, which I think is called like Disney Speed Stars or something. I don't know. Some Disney racing game, right? They have a very similar thing. They have seasons. In that season, there's a free tier, there's a paid tier. You do you get points. As you get points, you unlock certain bits and pieces. If you want the premium content, you pay for the pass. You get that. Most of that content you can earn, but you have to play the game a lot to earn the points for it, right? But normally. So, if you're paying for it, you're getting the cheat code in that you're getting some of the stuff earlier than you would do otherwise. But you don't have to, I don't know, it just feels very much like when they're doing this, it is a cash grab. And also, and the point I was trying to make was that Disney game is free, right? That Disney game you can play for free. If you want to buy the season pass, you can pay for it, or you can earn a lot of it just by playing the game each time. But the base game itself was free. If you want to do this kind of thing, you should not be charging $70 for the base game, in my opinion. So I think it stinks. I understand that this is something 2K do with their other games. Again, I'm not blaming WWE for this. It's just the games industry. But to me, it puts me off buying the game, especially as well, because the other thing, it's a yearly release. That means it will be, by Christmas, a $20 game. So me paying $70 for it now is just so I can play it early. That's it.
I kid you not. Okay, WWE 2K 25 came out on the Switch 2 about 2 months after the release of the system. As at Walmart, it was $15.
Mm-hmm.
So that game has also released much earlier, or much more recently than every other version of the game. So it is what it is. Ringside passes, or passes in general, like, I get what they're trying to do, is to promote people playing the game and not just getting everything at once and having nothing to do or nothing to work towards and nothing to unlock. I get what it's doing. It's actually a predatory tactic to keep you on the game. Fortnite does this, Call of Duty does this. It's industry standard at this point. And I'm actually shocked it's taken 2K that long to implement something like this in the game. So that hit and miss. But Fortnite, I see the pros, I see the cons.
But Fortnite as well is a free
game.
It's
a free game.
It's also
a free game.
Yes.
This is my whole thing. Like I and the thing is, a lot of those games, I'm not sure about Fortnite, but I know that Disney one, and there's another Disney one that my daughter was playing, which was like a one where you kind of Animal Crossing kind of rip-off, right? Both those games were free to play. You could buy the game, and if you bought the game, it came with so many extras, so many characters unlocked, so many points that you could use to spend within the game, whatever, right? So you're still getting the game for free, but you're paying for those additional bits and pieces. If this was a free-to-play game and they were charging you this to, get other bits and pieces and improve your characters and all that, I wouldn't have an issue. But when you're charging $70 for it out the gate, and then this on top, and then even with that, as you said, Ryan, you're not getting this like you did before, which is you would get this stuff for free immediately. Now you're having to still earn it just at
on
your
top
own
of spending
pace.
Your money on top of spending your money, where it would just give you the instant gratification of having stuff. Yeah. Now they want you to invest your time into unlocking it, and that's where it becomes an issue. Like, I don't have infinite time in the world to sit here and play these games.
Nope.
But man, in fairness, Vikingo is a really cool guy to unlock. But at the same point in time, I don't know if I want to invest my time to commit to 40 tiers of a ringside pass. So
let me just do this, right? If it works. Here we go. When I was a kid and I used to do chores, I used to get paid for doing chores. Now I'm paying to do the chores. This is why it's wrong.
That is a very fair point.
Yeah. Bravo. Take a bow, good sir. Yes.
Now, I will say the ringside pass is kind of the most controversial subject for the game this year.
Yep.
They are doing a lot of cool things. If you are if you're a creative wrestler fan, if you're into the creative suite, basically the creative suite in these games, there's a lot more to access. Also, they're locking features for the create modes behind the ringside pass entirely.
Yep.
So that's another thing I don't like about it. We have a resident call in our community. I don't know where he is, but this would have been a fun conversation for him to join up and be a part of.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. But yeah, it's kind of with Hannibal in this. Like, I feel it's ridiculous that they're upcharging you so much right off of the base game. You know what I mean? And then they have you paying more to unlock the stuff. Then you're investing your time to basically unlock the stuff that you paid for, or whatever the case may be, and it just seems rough. Like, you're paying to do chores is exactly what Hannibal said. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Jesus Christ. And here comes all the fucking comments there. But yeah, one example, and maybe this is me just being old fashioned too, like Hannibal, but they're bringing this finally into the game, the thumbtacks.
Is that thumbtacks?
That is thumbtacks, yes.
That is a bag of thumbtacks.
That is a bag of thumbtacks that you could use as a weapon.
And there are thumbtacks kind of scattered across the ground.
Yeah, you literally found the worst picture of the thumbtacks you could have done, because I saw the thumbtacks being used in videos.
Yeah, there was no other picture I could find that
you could have ripped it from the video.
Yeah, probably.
Either way, regardless of the point, I'm glad that they are implementing thumbtacks. I'm glad that they are implementing weapon physics. I'm glad that they're implementing several quality of life features. I saw gameplay. I don't remember who sourced it. I don't remember. It could have been Tony the Pizza Guy. It could have been anybody.
I think it was.
But,
I saw the Legacy one.
I saw. There's so many videos out today. Again, it's PR day. It could have come from anywhere, because I watched a lot of videos. But getting power bombed onto on the steel steps from inside the ring to the outside of the ring. Okay, that's something you can do now. You can double stack tables again for the first time in years. I don't know why they took that feature out. So, like, the quality, like if you play these games, these games are going to feel like a video game for the first time in a long time. We're getting new matches too. Between 3 stages of hell, which I said on the private call, it almost seemed like they were told to include this match because they were going to have a 3 stages of hell match a few weeks ago. There's a dumpster match that just was recently added. From a gameplay perspective, there's nothing different between a dumpster match and a casket match. Casket match is already in the game, by the way. But you can have a dumpster match. You can have an inferno match. And so there's a lot of gameplay that they have there. And honestly, at this point, like, wrestling video games have gotten to the point where there's just a lot.
Yeah. There's the Inferno match too.
There's just a lot to break down. I have played considerable amount of WWE games from No Mercy, which is currently in my N64 right now, to 2K25.
Yep. I
think the only things I haven't really played a lot of hours is Crash Hour or Crush Hour or whatever it was titled.
Yeah.
And the Raw games.
Yeah.
I played everything else.
Dude, okay, as a person who played the Raw games, you didn't miss anything. Trust.
So we've got a couple of people that have been waiting in the wings.
Yes.
So I'm going to bring up, first of all, this little cutie pie.
Hello,
Dev.
Mr. Dev.
Little.
Dev.
Hello. Cute. Always.
Dev's cute. What's wrong with saying that?
What's wrong with that? He's
not controversial, is it?
We can always compliment Dev's looks.
There you go.
He listen, he's the best looking out of all of us, in my opinion. All right. I mean, I look like a smack.
Well. Right now, I feel like I'm the best looking because I'm rocking the best looking clothing out of all of us right now.
Where can they get that?
ShopDubC.com. Octopus.
Did somebody say ShopDubC.com?
That's true. They did say ShopDubC.com. In fact, let me do the thing, the gimmick that absolutely needs to be done.
It does not need to be done if you weren't already
ShopDubC.com.
Oh my god, I clicked the wrong one.
If you weren't already fingering the gimmick, you don't need to stop the show to go and finger the gimmick, James. All right?
I didn't realize there was an auto-tune version.
Yes, we have multiple buttons, James.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
It's the
God
best
damn
way
it,
to express
James.
me.
God damn it.
This is what our 5 minutes or 10 minutes is supposed to be for before we go live.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Dev.
I've just looked at the soundboard,
Yeah.
and it's called Shop Dub C Auto Tune.
Yes, it is. I just clicked it.
You can't
I can't
fucking read, James.
read.
You
Hold
can't
on.
read. He plays
try
Yu-Gi-Oh,
that.
everybody.
One more time.
ShopDubC.com.
That's the right one. Okay, cool.
All right. That's enough burying James. Okay. We hit our daily allotment.
So Dev,
Yes.
Okay. You ask him.
well, Dev, I don't know if you are a fan of the 2K series. Are you a fan of the 2K series? And regardless of your answer to that question,
God damn it, James.
It's a good way to say it. The first question don't matter, but the second one actually matters.
Are you a fan of the 2K series, Dev?
Are you a fan of the 2K series, Dev?
No. It is. Well, it's hard to be a fan of the 2K series when you live through the SmackDown versus Raw and the other SmackDown games, and they don't even try to. I don't expect them to copy it, but they don't even try to capture some of the same magic from the old games.
Thank
you. So what I'm hearing is
I don't mean to be a boomer or nothing. You guys know how old I guess.
What I'm hearing, Dev, is that you feel like the 2K games lack soul and personality.
Yeah.
Is that a fair assessment?
Yes.
I'm right there in Dev's camp, by the way. I'm like I'm firmly in this camp, man. I can't tell you the last time I have played a 2K game and actually enjoyed it. Literally, I think it was 2K18.
The last 2K game that I owned, I've never hated a 2K game. I'm not drawn to them. There's never been a
2K20 I hated.
2K20 was a fucking dumpster fire.
I love the crash outs that came about of 2K20.
Mine's still sealed.
Yeah,
I never opened it.
Dude, one of my friend's PCs actually bricked from putting that game into his PC. And it was that badly produced that it was actually bricking people's systems. And it's one of those things where you burn me one too many fucking times with 2K, and I want to be excited, especially with some of the stuff that they're adding back, right? Because to your point, Ryan, they are bringing in a lot of the cool creative stuff back. They are bringing in a lot of the cool stuff.
Well, they're never taking creative stuff away. They just add more and more.
Yeah, they take away stuff and now they're adding it back.
No, they don't. No. They take away match features.
Yes,
James, this is one of those things where, okay, when they made the transition from the 6th generation consoles to the 7th generation consoles, I do believe.
Yeah.
No. The 7th generation consoles to the 8th generation consoles, which is the 360 to the Xbox One, effectively. Okay. We left behind Inferno Match, Buried Alive, I Quit. I could go on. Yep. There's a lot of matches that were left behind that were supposed to be added back in over the course of the next few games because they changed the game engine, allegedly, and they moved forward. It's taken them 11, 12 years
to finally get
add the Inferno match back into the game. To be fair, we have been given some new matches. The ambulance match is something they added in 2 years ago, I think. It could have been last year at this point. I don't remember. These games bleed together at that point. That's Roy Dev said. That there's no identifiable factors. There's no soul. There's no personality. These games are just numbers each year, and it is what it is. And
it was like that even during the 2K THQ era too. By the way, I don't want to make pretend like that was just a problem with 2K. It was very much a problem in THQ's later years also.
I always did love the faction modes where you got to collect cards, but that's just because I'm that's one of my nerdy pleasures, like collecting cards.
Yeah, it's just and
we ain't going to talk about Battlegrounds.
On Battlegrounds.
Oh, we are.
Battlegrounds is a bootleg ripoff of All Stars that they needed to release because 2K20 bombed and 2K21 couldn't happen.
That's not even an accurate statement. That's not even an accurate. That is not even an accurate statement, James.
What them being
that
2K Battlegrounds?
You can't call it All Stars because it's nothing like All Stars.
No, but right.
So they tried to emulate.
Yeah. So this is where I'll push back a little bit on that and side a little bit more with James, which is not a position I normally like to take, but you got to. So I loved WWE All Stars. Like, that was probably the last WWE game I really, really, really enjoyed. Right, I loved All Stars. I thought it was just so much fun.
I still enjoy.
The thing is, it's not very deep. The roster's very small, but it was something different and it was fun. So when they announced Battlegrounds, I was like, okay, we're finally getting All Stars 2, because we never got All Stars 2.
Yes,
something different, something fresh. And then what it was, do you know what it was? It was like when they did the mobile version of WrestleFest. Do you remember that? Where they didn't emulate the game. They went, right, people liked WrestleFest. Let's make a game that looks just like it, but with different characters.
Yeah.
And it just lost all the soul, all the heart of it. Battlegrounds was the same. It had the look of All Stars, but it had none of the things that made All Stars so much fun. And look, I'm not going to say Battlegrounds was awful. It wasn't terrible, but it also was not All Stars. And that's the biggest problem.
No, agreed.
Well,
agreed.
Artistically, it was a live service game that they created to look the part, and it failed. And wrestling games, sports games in general, we have entered the live service era. And at this point, I really just wish that they would start just release one game. Just release WWE 2K and sell me the annual character update.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like this, I've been calling for that even before 2K took over. Like, I wish they'd just go with that model instead of, like, honest to God, it should be a combination of that with the Street Fighter motif. And what I mean by that is they update the roster, add new characters every year for that particular, like, era or whatever. And I think it was like a 5-year cycle the last time they did this and released multiple games of the same thing. Only this time, instead of doing multiple games at different discs like Street Fighter did for 4, you do it like digitally. And if they did that, I would be so into that. And I would actually be invested into 2K again, because then, okay, I actually have a reason, and you're not just giving me, the same game every year in a different freaking disc and then shutting down the creative servers for no reason every year. Because, like, there's too much that you should be able to do in a wrestling game. And you can't do it all in a year, especially if you're a COD creator like I used to be,
Well, there's a lot that you used to be able to get away with in the old SmackDown versus Raw games. WWE 12, WWE 13, these two games had kind of some personality. They used to try. They used to implement gameplay features each year. WWE SmackDown versus Raw 2009, they completely reformatted the tag team match.
Yes. And it was
SmackDown versus Raw 2011, they implemented a new weapons physics system for the 7th generation systems.
Yep, Apex Predator technology, yep.
That was WWE 12.
Oh, was that WWE 12? I apologize then.
by the way, yeah, these are all technologies that their technologies were all like marketing terms because the Predator tech it's never been talked about ever since. The AI in this year's game looks like it's actually going to be intelligent, as they are trying to give more accurate wrestlers.
Yeah.
So if you hit a move, the wrestler or the AI within the character will go on to hit the next move that is natively in that sequence. So every particular character's AI appears like it's going to have their quote unquote 5 moves of doom programmed into the character. So that's something I would like to see from their quality of life.
Because there was times like, especially back in the day, like the AI would just be dumb and not hit their finisher or not hit their signature properly. Like they just they pick you up and then try to do it at some cases. Like, it was never exactly the greatest thing. I'm glad they're at least, again, as I said, I'm glad they're finally like got their niche as far as the gameplay aspect again. I've noticed that since 23, 24, 25, and they've kind of updated it and made it even more refined every year. So I
partly due to that, James, is 2K20. We covered that 2K20 was an abysmal blunder.
Oh,
that bad. This game, in the heart of the pandemic, released, and it did not have any type of post-production done to it. Basically, all the beta testing that would have been done on this game did not get done. This game was a bugging mess, all of it. And they owed the fans an apology, so much so that they said that they were going to keep 2K19 servers alive 2 extra years.
Yeah.
While they worked on 2K20 or 2K22. And in the wake of 2K22, I think was Rey Mysterio's year. I think it was 3 was John Cena's. We've gone back. I look at this right now. The marketing ploy for 2K26 is the Attitude Era, and this is like the 4th time in 15 years that they've offered this, and it's a little tiring at this point to me. Like, how many times can you sell me the same stuff?
Yeah. That's why I'm saying just go the Street Fighter method and just digitize like
you're not going to, because the thing is,
I know
this is what I said. This is what I said when we was having this discussion a few weeks ago when the announcement started coming out. You're going to keep buying it. If you're going to keep buying it, you cannot complain that, well, they should move to this model.
Right.
Well, then don't buy it, and then they'll go, you know what? We need to make this free to play, and we'll just throw in all the extras.
Well, that and it's not even necessarily that they have to make it free to play per se. They just need to update the roster and actually make it worthwhile and do it online. Like, at least one game, like Ryan said.
Well, hold on, James, because that's the problem. Because people keep buying the game each year.
Right.
People will still continue to buy the game. This is the game where I have reconciled. I'm probably going to buy the game simply for the quality of life features and all of that they've added into it. I am part of the problem. James, you haven't bought a 2K game in probably a decade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like this. Yeah.
No, not shit like this. You just ain't bought. You just period.
Well, no, even when
there's a lot of contributing.
Even when I could afford it, to be fair, once upon a time, James was not always broke, people. I never felt compelled to do it because I didn't agree with these practices that they were implementing. Very much like Hannibal suggested. Like, I cannot justify it. I can't. Like, even for PC, and I have a very good PC. Can't be fucking asked. I can't.
All I'm saying is, games go on sale, and when they're worth $5, that's a good price to buy them at.
That's fair.
Even at that price, you don't buy it. My whole point is this, okay? Yep. I am very much a part of the problem in the vein that I will buy the game. I am so hot and cold of purchasing 2K26 to where I was considering buying the $150 edition, and then I saw what the $150 edition was. So I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't play. Brother, the audience of people who are going to play with Roddy Piper do not own PS5s.
No. That's the other thing.
All right. The type of person who's going to play with Macho Man Randy Savage do not own PS5s.
I don't know. Macho Man's kind of.
Do not own PS5s. Okay? That kind of nostalgia is not going to work anymore. Okay? And this is going to be the game. Oh,
he's ready.
So you're saying people who have PS5s won't play as Harley Race or Superstar Billy Graham?
Yes.
What I'm saying is I have never used Superstar Billy Graham.
No.
You never used Jesse the Body Ventura?
Who?
I have not used Jesse the Body Ventura.
James, did you say who? Are we gonna bring the
I
MAGA
did.
James
I
bit
did it
to
as
this-
a.
to this
I
show?
did it as a joke. I did it as a joke.
You make it so easy sometimes. Love you.
My
Yeah, sure.
my point is the nostalgia. We're past the point of nostalgia being a selling factor for these games. Now we need features. Now we need new talent. You might have overlooked. You might have looked at the roster and realized that Dark State, a prominent NXT stable, and current NXT Tag Team Champions are not listed on the roster at all.
Yep.
Dev, fellow NXT enjoyer, Dev, how does that make you feel?
How does what make me feel?
How does the fact that Dark State don't even have models in the game, they're not even available in the game on the roster as of right now, as of this conversation?
I'm furious. I'm absolutely livid that my Dark State and Devs America doesn't get featured on a mainstream video game. That's disgusting. On Black History Month, no less. So I will be giving them 1 star on Yelp because of this. They had it coming.
Yelp is wild.
1 star on Yelp, baby.
I think they're going to offer Dark State as a season pass item, as a ringside pass. There's 4 people in Dark State. There's 4 DLCs per pass.
Sure.
Makes sense to me, brother.
Hey Fish, can you just very quickly, without thinking too much about it, can you just name all 4 members of Dark State for me, please?
There's Saquon Sugars and everybody else.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem, right? That's kind of the problem right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Also, yes, Soto. Joe Hendry is in fact in the game.
Joe Hendry's in the game if you pre-order.
That's true.
Pre-order the game.
Not in base game, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Got to pre-order him, but yes, here he is, right there.
The last season, by the way, the last season of Ringside Pass, the last thing for you to get is the Evolve Arena. I've been reliably informed.
Really? The Evolve Arena, huh? That'll put the discs in the console.
They're selling these video games like they're trying to sell legacy episodes of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Milestone episodes or NXT. Like we're trying to bump up the rating. Okay? As I said earlier, it doesn't even make sense that the King of Kings edition, Triple H, comes with the European champion and not the World Heavyweight champion, and not Evolution, not Conan the Barbarian, not whatever the fuck he came out as in that Terminator garb. All right. European champion, mid-card or Triple H? The Attitude Era?
It's wild. None of it makes sense. None of it makes sense. That's the thing that drives me nuts about all these names for all the different versions. Is none of them make sense to anything that you're actually getting. I just feel that when you're looking at a company and there's so many people, and look, I'm not saying WWE isn't still popular, right? Clearly is. It's not a product that I've been enjoying for a while, but it's still like the company, right? But we're sat here, ratings are down, attendance is down, they're cutting ticket prices for SmackDown because of low sales. They're banning viewing parties. And then with all of that stuff going on, you're now releasing this, what is their most expensive video game of all time?
Literally from to the T of price.
It's like, just nuts. Just nuts.
I don't get it, man. I really don't understand.
World Heavyweight European Championship.
Yeah, World Heavyweight European Championship. Yeah, that's accurate, Dev. That's accurate. No, it's a damn shame, man, because like I want to be excited for these games. I want to feel the urge, to buy a game or play a game with my friends again, wrestling wise. And I don't feel it anymore. But I don't feel that energy.
But here's something else which kind of got touched upon earlier, and I don't think we talked enough about it. So one of the things they brought back for this game is the fact that if you've got a discarded weapon, so you've got a chair on the ring mat, if you slam somebody onto it, they actually get affected by it rather than what's been happening in the games for a while now, which is it's just something in the ring. It doesn't count if you're not holding it with people, right?
Yeah.
And I saw a video where like, oh yeah, they brought this back, and it was like, why was it ever taken out?
Yep.
Like that was stuff that you could do in fucking No Mercy. Do you know what I mean? Like this was something that was so normal in a wrestling video game that one of the big selling points for your $70 game is you brought something back you were doing 20 years ago.
Yeah. That you never should have taken out in the first place. Yeah.
I don't even know how it could have or why it could have done it. Yeah. So
like call me jaded, but I don't like the, I think you said it, Ryan. Predatory practices. I've never been a fan of it, never will be a fan of it. I think, if your game is good and you're actually doing right by your consumer, the game will sell itself. And that's just how I feel about it. Yeah.
It brings us to a nice way to transition this to, I guess, the next little piece of the conversation, because we have just a few minutes left of this show tonight. Yeah. Not every wrestling games used to not be annual. Okay, you used to get one game every so many years, especially back in the height of the video game wars between the Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation, right?
Yeah.
So there was a recent game that came, not that recent, mind you, but there was a wrestling game that released, AEW Fight Forever. Okay. Yep. This game was not a great game in comparison to a WWE title.
No.
For a first game in of a franchise, it had good bones.
Yes.
What do you guys want in a wrestling video game? Ideally. And I will preface this with Fight Forever. It released once and they had a few season passes. Okay. When they gradually updated the roster. Okay. Using Fight Forever as the argument here, for a Fight Forever 2 or whatever they decide to call it, because they own the engine for the game. What more do you want? Clearly, I would want everybody that we legally still can put in the game to be still there, right? I want to build upon the roster. I want to build upon the gameplay engine that we already had. Fix some wonky shit that might already be there. But AEW has the opportunity to release that one game and release you an annual update for that one game until they build upon the engine so much that they have no choice but to release a new game, because you can only spaghetti code a game for so many years before it starts falling apart.
Yeah.
So, Dev, what do you want in a wrestling video game?
I want the SmackDown versus Raw GM mode. Honestly, we can I can compromise with the soulless, overpriced, janky wrestling game that 2K provides us
Yeah.
if I get my 2006, 2007 GM mode. That's what I want in my wrestling games. A much more, just a better GM mode, like something more uh co-op friendly.
Yep.
Something that you can play with one of your friends, sibling, cousin,
I used
on the
to.
With
internet
longevity, and
across the world.
I
Yep.
want it to have longevity, like I
Yeah.
feel like the GM mode that they had in the last 2K I played would be 2K22. Like it's fun once. And
It's
I
not
want it to be fun
fun.
more than once.
Yes, exactly that. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to play. I used to play GM mode on the PSP. I used to have the PSP version of some of the Raw versus SmackDown games, and it was great because I used to be able to play that on my commute into work, which used to be quite long. So I'd get quite stuck into it, and it was just fun because if I wanted to like play some matches, I could do that, or I could just simulate some matches, get on to the next week. Do you know what I mean? Like it was fun and it added something to it. So yeah, I think the fact that we don't get that anymore is a real shame.
In line of that also, WWE 12-esque. I have to preface that universe mode, aka the best universe mode that was ever made.
It's been that mode every year since. They've added nothing to the game. They've not taken anything away from it. They've not added anything to it until this year, actually, because they are adding to the universe mode this calendar year.
No, I know that, but like, okay. In this, by the way, was problem pre-2K. I want to just preface that. You're right that they didn't take away anything, but the universe mode that they copy and pasted essentially every year since 12, it only worked for 12 because there was certain codings and animations and like liveliness that only can happen in that game. It doesn't work on the other games as well or as effectively on 13, 14, so on. I played those games at least up until 16. I know this, right?
I played those games too, and I think you are having a moment where you're interpreting it different. I've played those same games, and I feel like there was no difference between those. They just added nothing. That it was a game mode that was magical the first time you played it.
Yeah.
And since they added nothing of substance to those game modes, lost its magic.
Yeah.
So for me, I think the biggest problem, I liked Fight Forever, but it felt like it was very much a work in progress game.
Yes.
A little bit like the TNA Impact game.
Yes.
When that came out, right?
I'll say this, they have better bone structure than TNA Impact game.
The funny thing about TNA Impact, so I was really excited to go out and buy that the day it came out. And I remember coming home and thinking, blimey, that was quite cheap. And then when I played it, all the wrestlers had the same move set.
Yeah.
Other than their special move, but all the other moves were exactly the same. It was weird. But I thought Fight Forever was a great base, but it lacked a lot of things. The creator mode definitely needed work done. It was very bare bones.
Under-delivered.
The story mode was the same. Now, here's something which is probably unpopular, but I don't, I like playing online, but I like playing offline. And give me a good story, and I will sit there and play for it, and I'll probably play for it with a few different characters. They had that, but it wasn't particularly long enough. It felt very samey. Yeah. So even when you were branching off and doing other things, like what was the most exciting thing you could do? Be a vegetarian and choose a vegan meal at a restaurant. Like there really wasn't. Danielson. Right, there really wasn't much there, and there have been. Going back to some of the older games, some of the older SmackDown games, there were some great story modes.
Yeah.
Where you could be a brand new character, and you might do story beats that you saw on TV with other characters, but you were playing as a new character that you created, or you could play it with a a different character. Just that kind of thing just adds so much more value to me as a consumer than me being able to play online. Because look, at the end of the day,
7 was huge with that as well.
Right. And the thing is, when you're playing online, especially if you come into a game late, right? So and I know this is the reason why people want to buy games early, because you want to get on there and be able to like build your character up and everything like that. But when you buy a game and you come into it late and then you start trying to play online, you're so underweighted against other people that it's just not fun to play. You just get your arse whooped every time. There's no enjoyment in that. So give me a good story mode.
No.
And if I want to play online, I can do, but you give me a reason to invest and spend a lot of hours into it. So GM mode, decent story mode, decent creator wrestler mode. Don't care about your mini games.
Decent booking sim.
Everything
that you're saying. And
right. That's what
Create a Suite needs to be up to date, especially people who create.
If you are for AEW Fight Forever or a potential Fight Forever sequel, they are never going to be 2K20. They are never going to 2K26. They're never going to be WWE. Trying to be WWE is going to be the way that you make your game worse. Like I said, it had good bones. It had great bones for a foundational piece. It looked like that game could have used more time in the oven. Everything that a talent has, every piece of gear that can be there, add it through DLC, add it later, whatever licensing agreements are necessary to get some of these things, because some wrestlers wear DC oriented gear or whatever. Yeah. But to me, like, I get it. The creator wrestler community, they really love shit. But I would much rather have more actual features in my game than baseline stuff that requires me to do actual additional work to put things together. I would like more match types. I would like a better story mode. I would like a better overall roster. What I sure as fuck don't need is mini games. I do not need to play Mario Party while I'm trying to play a wrestling game. Okay? And that's cool that you could have that. That's cool that you have that as a feature. It clearly did not do well. It clearly took away from the overall performance of that particular game in general. So maybe if you did not focus on that and you focused on creating a better wrestling game as a whole, then you could worry about those extra features later.
I will say, though, the Stadium Stampede was pretty fun.
That was fun.
Stadium Stampede is fun, but the problem is, when was the last time you picked up Fight Forever?
Oh, I've not picked it up. I don't think I picked it up last year.
Yeah.
So the last time I played Fight Forever, I logged on to do a Stadium Stampede match. Okay, it took 5 minutes for it to fill up a lobby with bots. These online modes, these gameplay modes that are intended to be online, need to have offline counterparts to them. Because at this point in time, the game mode's fun. You get to run around the arena, do whatever. You know, just put down 30 bots into the arena and let me play the game at this point, because it is what it is.
I got one, and then we'll start to do our plugs. Continental Classic.
Didn't you already give one?
Continental Classic mode, though, to your point of game features.
It's tournament mode, but all wrestling games should have some sort of tournament mode. One of the comments here, I read that they wanted a gauntlet mode, specifically. Like, I assume this means slobber knocker.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Remember the old slobber knocker mode where you take one and you fight them forever?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
That'd be fun.
But at this point, we are running a little long, and I want to thank everybody who came and supported us today, and talked in the comments, and
yes, sir,
watched and shared, and clicked shopdubc.com. Hannibal, do you want to read off? Do you want to read off the schedule?
I can't read it off because I've got no schedule to read. But Yes, we are part of the Wrestle Collective. Thank you very much for joining us on this episode of Wrestling with Tism. We do have various shows across various platforms, and the next one for you will be 15 minutes tonight after Raw goes off the air. Carlos will be doing his Raw review. On Wednesday, you can join myself and the WrestleFish, the Fish and Dish Connection, as we do Light the Fuse over on Twitter in Spaces. Coming soon to YouTube. He has seen the progress of my studio / office. It's going to be a little bit of time, but we're going to get there eventually. On Thursday, also on Wednesday, 15 minutes after Dynamite goes off the air, we do the pre-show with Light the Fuse. They do the post-show with Wednesday Night Chaos. So join Carlos and crew as they run down the Dynamite, which hopefully you've just watched and enjoyed. On Thursday, it's the big one. It's the main show. It's the Wrestle Collective podcast. This week is a special episode. No, we're not going to talk to you about the dangers of drugs. When I say special episode, I don't mean that kind of special episode. This will be Wrestle Collective Jeopardy. Yes, it is a fun game show edition of the Wrestle Collective podcast. So that will be going live at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Please join us on this very channel. However you're watching today, you can watch the Wrestle Collective podcast on Thursday. So we will hopefully see you there. And then Jaded, go and do your plugs.
Yes, as Hannibal said, go check out the boys at the Wrestle Collective. Don't forget that there could be random spaces throughout the weekend as well. You never know if there's going to be a weekend with advocates. Could be a fish fry. You never know what could happen during the week. So always make sure you follow us on the various socials for the Wrestle Collective. As far as our partnerships with Simply Reliable Studios, there's 2 watch-alongs this week, and you will see me there, as well as JJ and I believe possibly the WrestleFish, depending on if his schedule permits it. You never know with life be lifing. But check us out there. 2 GCW shows this weekend. And also later on in the beginning of next month, Hot Dog and a Handshake, second episode, third episode, second episode, I believe, maybe
Second
3.
Episode.
Second episode on YouTube, and Queens Road going to be starting off the week or starting off the month per se, the first Sunday of every month. Go check them out as well. Shout out to Soto, shout out to Tay, and shout out to Dev who just dipped. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed us as far as Wrestling with Tism is concerned. And until next time, there was always a little bit of spectrum on the internet.
Ladies and gents, thanks for stopping by. And until next time, this is the Wrestle Collective.